Hello, Salt Strong Nation. Joe Simons, like diamonds. Get out your hand sanitizer, spray your hands up. We're talking about the state of the Saltwater Fishing Tackle Union. We're talking about tackle. We're talking about technology, some new technologies coming out, some that we're working on. And then community. We are going to start with tackle because that's been the craziest thing that I've ever been a part of. And I've been in a couple different businesses. This really past not just year, but 2 years with COVID and supply chain issues, and the fact that fishing has absolutely exploded. I'm talking about exploded. There's over 50 million people went fishing over the past year. I mean, 50 to put in perspective, golf is a big sport, right? Golf, we've all heard of Tiger Woods, and he kind of brought a lot of people back. Golf was kind of in doldrums. They had 24.8 million people went golfing in the US. Okay. 24.8 million. Fishing had 50 million in the US. That's not worldwide. That's just here in America. And according to I guess it was the who gives us that data in terms of new anglers? Is it American Sports?
I mean, there's a couple companies, but Southwick does one. Southwick looks a lot at total tackle sales, and I'm sure they work with other government agencies to see number of licenses sold and surveys of like applicants that are participating in these surveys and on the water. It's a myriad of things, but Southwick is a good general source for a lot of that.
That's who it was. And this is all, a lot of this is from Fishing Tackle Retailer. Love you guys. They put up, they document who puts all this stuff out. But according to that article, new anglers in America up 36%. And a new angler is considered someone who bought a fishing license, whether it was at Walmart or online or FWC, someone who bought a fishing license and had not had a fishing license at least 5 years or more prior. So 36%. So guess what that does, Justin? That's 36% more people who now want to go buy. They got their license, they need equipment. So now they're going out and buying tackle, rods, reels, line lures, combos, etc. And that just made it even worse, this compounding effect of trying to get tackle in. So let's start with tackle. We'll address that and we'll talk about some new tackle coming as well. But let's talk about just the overall issues, because the question we get all the time is it going to get better in 2022? Meaning, are we going to be able to find our Daiwa reels and these nice bull bay rods and our custom rods with mud hole? Like what's happening?
Where do I start? The supply and demand issues associated with because of, let's just say it's COVID, okay? That leads to a lot of different problems. The problem isn't one smoking gun. It's like 10 to 12 individual issues that have compounded to this massive supply and demand shortage. Whether it's people, the shortage of microchips or, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other industries that are affected by this. And a lot of that kind of stemmed from, all right, people weren't going to work. People were staying more indoors. Everybody's ordering online for things. And that demand, as you put it, has increased 30+%, where the availability of producing the product is only going to grow incrementally, because you don't just, have 30% more staffing and then more raw materials to make all these goods. That increase in that such short time period leads to this bottleneck of, well, we can make more, but it's not even going to make a dent to keep up with how many more people are fishing and want to get stuff. Yeah. So, you've heard it a bazillion times, and it's happening to so many other industries, but it's a series of challenges that are leading to this. It isn't just, well, there aren't enough people to make the product. Well, it's getting the material, the raw material, to make the product itself. I mean, look at all the different components used into making a spinning reel, getting that all together, then having the labor to produce it. Then the increase in cost of shipping has gone up at least 5 times. Air freight is probably a lot more than that. But all of these products are coming over in containers, and there's shortage of containers. There's shortage of container vessels. There's shortage of people to check in said containers. And there's like, I don't remember what the number was, but we're down 90-something% of truck drivers. It was like 80,000 truck drivers are not in the workplace for 2021. That's insane. How do you fill that void? That's your means to get it from the dock to the distributor warehouse to us, to your doorstep. Like that's a huge, that's a hole right there. How do you fill that? That's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take strategic planning and employment. So when it comes to getting tackle in any tackle shop, big box store, or local mom and pop, they're all going to struggle. And the biggest thing is keeping up with communication with all of our direct manufacturers, talking to Daiwa frequently, talking to TFO and Owner Hooks and Z-Man, and figuring out, okay, guys, how are things looking for you? What do the next 3 months look like? What are the next 6 months? Can we forecast for an entire year? Which nobody does that. No, not at least not in the fishing industry. We never needed to do that. So there's been a lot of adaptation. A lot of change we've had to deal with in how we strategically approach getting tackle and forecasting when we can expect it. So much has changed in the past 2 years. I can't believe it's 2 years. Can you believe it? COVID happened, what, February-ish 2020? And then here we are, the end of December 2021. It's still a thing. There's new variants. It's not going away anytime soon. But overall, I think that we've had time as a nation and in this industry to plan how to be better about it, how to decide what core SKUs to focus on, maybe not spread all your efforts amongst a lot of different products, but focus on making more of the ones that really supply the biggest demand amongst fishermen. Let's say Daiwa Fuegos, definitely one of those things. So there have been a lot of changes, a lot of strategic planning that's happened this year. And I think we'll see some improvement next year because I think a lot of these manufacturers are aware of these challenges and are trying to do what they can to better allow for things instead of we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants, which is what happened in 2020. And I think that is what caused almost a year of back orders on some things. A lot of the products we have that were on back order, a lot are still 6 to 8 months on back orders, but some are over a year. To a point where it's like, how do you even ask somebody when can I see my big show order from 2020? You can't even ask the sentence without cringing because that's not normal. I don't even know how to say that without giggling at it.
Yeah. So it's every August/September, somewhere in there is when we start, and most of us have to start putting, pretty big orders in to get ready for the next year. So in September of 2019, right? We're now, you guys are listening to this, 2022, we put big orders in. We still have some pending orders from September of 2019, just a couple that have not been filled. They probably never will be filled at this point, but it's that crazy. And you brought up Daiwa, they're our favorite reel manufacturer by a long shot. And Daiwa obviously saw this stuff coming. They didn't see it coming the way it did, but they've known about obviously these issues for a while. So they went to the point, I believe it was some point earlier this year when they realized, all right, 2020 wasn't just a fluke. People are still buying this stuff. There's all these new fishermen. They're like building a whole new manufacturing plant, I believe in Vietnam, just to help with all these supply chain issues. But think about that. It's not like you just say, oh, cool, we got the money, we're going to create a new plant. Because everything takes longer to even build and you have the COVID and all these mandates and the craziness, it's now taking them 18, 24 months just to build the building and the manufacturing processes to make these, let's just say, Daiwa Fuegos. And so now we're talking about mid 2022 before that plant's even ready, before they've even made a single reel, right? And then they have to start making them and testing them out and doing all that stuff and then shipping them out in container ships, which could take nowadays 3, 4, 5 months. So you're almost in 2023. That sounds so weird, before the first container ships of this new manufacturing plant for Daiwa Fuegos in Vietnam that was started construction in mid 2021. It's crazy, right? These years confuse me because it's so weird talking about not getting stuff until 2023. But all that to be said is this whole issue is not going away. It will at some point. I was in the financial services industry for many years, and it was every time that people said, oh, but this time it's different. It was normally around 6 to 7 months after that where everything just collapsed and went, reverted back to normal, like the technology bubble, right? That was whenever we were putting money in everything, JD, Uniphase, and Cisco, and Intel, and ADM, like all these tech companies, and they just kept going up, right, forever. And everyone's like, oh, this time it's different. And what happened? It obviously, bubbled up. And so when you hear everyone just saying, hey, this time it's different, we're going to have this 36% new people coming in every year forever, and they're always going to be buying stuff. When you hear that enough times, at some point it will correct. but I don't see it correcting anytime, certainly not in this first quarter of 2022. By the end of the year, it could, right? I mean, a lot of it depends on the government too, right? Not to get political, but the government has been giving us a lot of money. I mean, right? I mean, we're talking about
Yeah.
printing trillions of dollars, and a lot of people are spending that on outdoor equipment, including fishing and hunting and buying new boats and kayaks, etc. And this whole industry, got a windfall of that. So if the government prints more money again in 2022, all bets are off. This thing could keep going. It could keep going forever. But if they don't, if they finally say, you know what, we're done printing money, we got to get back on our own feet, then it will. There will be a slight correction, and we will be able to get caught up, which will be great for all of us retailers and even consumers, right? You'll be able to get what you want, not have to go spend a crazy amount more, shop at 15,000 different places to find what reel or rod you want. So it will be better, but I don't see anything changing anywhere here in the next 3, 4, or 5 months. What about you?
No, not 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, like you said, we already have to very awkwardly at the beginning of 2022 look ahead and say, well, maybe 2023 will have a little more glimmer of light.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're not saying that 2022 is going to be dull by any means. There's going to be a lot of really cool things that come out of all of these changes and all of this planning that have been put into place for this year. We're going to be doing a lot of unique stuff within Salt Strong that I want you to kind of dabble into, because being on this side of it and learning about what we're going to start introducing and what we're focusing on in terms of stuff to help people catch more fish. Yep. It's pretty cool. Like, it makes a lot of sense about kind of what we're doing and what we're choosing to grow with. But in terms of like the day-to-day production stuff, by all of the popular brands that we love and carry and that you guys know, you're not going to notice this rebound of like, oh, okay, it's like it never happened. No, it's still going to be a big thorn in everybody's side for the rest of 2022. I think there's going to be periods of the year, maybe 2 times of the year, where all of a sudden everyone's just going to get a flushing all at once. And that's going to last 1.5 to 2 months. And then it's going to deplete. And everything that I'm thinking of is just for the inshore Southeast fishing world, because seasonally, different products and availability of those products kind of pop up at different times of the year. There's some shops up in the Northeast that close down for a couple months because it's just too cold and snowing and you don't fish. It's just not the time of the year. But March and April tend to be like the hit the ground running speed when a lot of products show up from manufacturers. And that's kind of always been the trend historically. So planning to have a lot more to account for the increase in the demand and number of fishermen, I'm sure we're going to see a surplus of things that they can have made and make available for everybody. But what's yet to be determined is if it's going to be everything that we want. If you're waiting for something specific, and I'm sure the manufacturers know that this is a hot item, we have no guarantee right now whether it's going to show up or not. They might be able to make more of something else, and then there might be marketing behind that thing, and it's just a whole different trend. But
keep going.
No, pop in. What's up?
Oh, go for it. I was going to say, with one really big exception to what you're saying.
Yeah. What?
Soft plastic lures. Because here's why. That and that was our number one seller by far in terms of revenue. You have to sell a lot of $5 packs of Slam Shadies to make up for one $180 rod or a $250 reel. But by far and I believe I saw some data that this was one of the first years that just lures in general, like lures and terminal tackle, sold more in terms of overall revenue than rods and reels. It used to always be the opposite, and a lot of it was because you couldn't get it. But all of our lures, with the exception of Power Prawn, the Brazilian version, we are working on a USA version, by the way. That's what I'm really excited about, that one, because it gives us control, and we have the ability, made in USA, to get stuff a whole lot quicker, and you don't have the massive issues of sending stuff over in containers and worrying about all this and the customs hold up. Worst case, Justin and I go rent a U-Haul and drive and go get the stuff. So really excited about that. That's the one good news, is you're going to see a lot of new lures from us. We have been working behind the scenes for all of 2021 on some different molds. So these will be custom to us. These are Salt Strong exclusives. And we do have the ability to get that stuff in pretty good order. I mean, the thing that takes the longest is the mold. And we're going to do a whole story about that and show the different renditions of how you get a little 3D printed mold, like, something that you and I could do in our garage to get it to where it's perfect, do through all these iterations, and then you finally get the big boy mold, right? The one that can hold anywhere from 32 to 44, probably 45 or 46 cavities, depending on the size. If it's, it's a 3-inch grub, or if it's, a 5-inch prawn. I mean, it's awesome. And so we're going to have some really, really cool stuff coming on the soft plastic lure side. And that is the one thing that should not slow down. It's been a little bit slower, right? We just had to be better planners. It used to be we could call up our manufacturer and say, hey, I need 10,000 packs of slam shading. Like, oh, cool, I have it in 3 weeks. Now it's like, it's a few months. So we're just having to get better at planning and putting really big orders in and just letting them run that machine all day long, 24/7, so that we get really, really big bulk orders in. So that's the one exception, is the soft plastic lures. And so we're going to be going not all in on it, but we're going to be going pretty far in with 3 really, really cool new proprietary lures that you've never even seen before, that have some really, really cool stories behind it. That's all I will say. The goal of them obviously is to help you catch more fish, and it's stuff that we've teased it a little bit. There have been a couple of our videos where Luke's catching fish, saying, hey, this is a demo I'm trying out. So hint, hint, make sure to watch all of our on the water live videos, and our insiders get to see a lot of that in our insider reports. But all that being said, stay tuned for some really cool stuff on the soft plastic lure side.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with how Luke has been fishing the snot out of these lures in front of us. Like, because we're using all the stuff we already have, and then he's using the prototype, and we're like, okay, maybe, we're just going to see if it catches fish. No, he's out fishing us with these things. We're like, all right, so it works. And he's like, no, watch me get another one. We're like, you've proven your point. Like, it works.
Jerk store. Hey, Luke, the jerk store just called. They're all out of you. We can say that because he's not here.
It's on back order.
Yeah, Luke's fishing Sebastian right now, and that'll be another really cool thing. We hired Pat Ogletree as a new fishing coach, and he's literally living in an RV this entire year, he and his wife, and just traveling around from Texas to Virginia and everywhere in between, and doing insider reports. So meeting up with our now 27,000 insider members as I record this, and that part's going to be cool. Luke has made a pact to, just travel more and fish new spots and document the whole thing. Once again, insider members only. If you're not an insider member, you're missing out. Tony's doing it. You're doing it. I mean, Wyatt obviously is in Texas, and he's moving all over the place on Texas. And that's going to be a really big change that you'll see even on our newsletters. There is going to be so much insider content. It's not even funny. So we are going to kind of move away from, not move away from YouTube and social media. We're still going to be on there, but we'll have less of a presence, and we're just going to be going all in on insider members. We have 27,000 members. We want to continue to make sure we serve them. And the number one thing we kept hearing from members is they love the on the water stuff, right? Because you and I can sit here and chat, and it's cool to talk, right, on a podcast format, or if you're watching this on YouTube on a video format. But we're in our offices, right? There's nothing that can trump being on the water and seeing someone actually fish a real spot, right? And see how they approach that area and exactly how they rigged it. And even the cadence, right, of how they're reeling in and how they're setting the hook. I mean, all that stuff is so critical. And we take it to another level and actually show you the spots and show you where we launch the boat or the kayak, or if we're on foot. We do a lot of wade fishing tips as well. Show where we missed, right? There's days that are just tough, and showing that, hey, here's what I learned, because that's real life. Yeah, you had one recently, but it's real life. We all do, right? Everyone has a bad day. It's even the professional guides have days that are epic, and you have days it's like, I'm just struggling to get a couple jacks and a couple lady fish to hit. So we show all of that, and it's so critical to see someone real time, not like a fishing show that's by the time you see it, it's 9 months old, right? I mean, it's real time, just happened like this week, and you actually see exactly where they were, where all the fish were, and you literally get to see everything, including a post-trip analysis, right? So after we come back, we actually get, kind of like on a little Zoom call and satellite map and do a post trip of what we learned. And that's so valuable. And I will tell you this, because this is something that I didn't really get at first, but I certainly do now. is that even if you saw like a report in Texas, let's just say, and you live in Fort Myers, Florida, watch it. Like your spot ain't that much different, right? Now, if it was California or Alaska, yeah, it's probably a little bit different. They're a whole different species, different structure. But for the most part, if you watch all of these incident reports and just do that alone, you will be light years of your fishing will like skyrocket in terms of how many fish you're catching per hour, because you will have amazing intel, and you'll always be able to get something from every single report, even if it's a different state, or even if it's 3 states away. You'll be able to get some, say, man, I got an area just like that. That makes sense. I'm going to go try it out this weekend.
So yeah, like take my insider report for example. Like it's probably going to go out around the same time that this is airing out to all of you guys. For those of you that watch that insider report, allow me to be the guinea pig, allow all of us to go out and fish and say, here's what's working and what's not working. In my post trip, I looked at it and said, oh my gosh, I hooked 2 fish doing this technique. And in the back of my head, I knew that that would have worked, and I didn't continue on with it. So in that situation, you know, in that analysis, looking at it all, we have the chance, even if we're unsuccessful, to go back and say, hey, whether you fish this area or get into a scenario just like this, because it's going to happen, this is what I would have done. And I probably would have been successful. So if you find yourself in that, you can watch these things and say, oh my gosh, now I know. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket so I can go out and get, 3 big trout and 2 nice reds, as opposed to struggling and getting maybe 1 bite. So, I mean, like the whole do as I say, not as I do is going to be the mantra for my insider report, but that's one trip. And I loved doing that and sharing that with everybody so that it helped me be a better angler, to know what I can do different, but it's to help and service all of our members, to help them go out and 8-ball corner pocket every one of their trips. You're absolutely right. The reports that Wyatt does in Texas, the way that redfish and trout behave, they're all going to be oriented to bait and structure and protection. They're all going to have about the same behavior. They're not like completely different animals than the East Coast of Florida. So watching and learning from all of that and taking his tips and tricks and applying it to my area or your area, whether it's the Carolinas or Virginia or Mississippi or wherever, it's going to work. And it saves you so much time.
Yes. Speaking of time, let's talk about technology. There's been a lot of technology out there from these fish finders and side scan. I mean, it's amazing on what you can do on a unit. We've got something for our insider members called smart fishing tides, and in that you have the tides and the wind direction and really all the data that you really need at your fingertips. It even has a little chart below, and it kind of gives you like the ideal times, right? If you could only fish during a couple hours, go in this time, and it's got little bars that start low, meaning it's not the best time, to very high, saying like this is going to be the prime time, and then gives you a number from 0 to 1 every single day, and it's changing like hourly based on all the different variables that we've put into this kind of formula. And it's a great tool to use to give you just an idea on when to go fishing. But that doesn't really help you out with where, right? And that's like the $1 billion question. And we did a survey to our members, our 27,000 insider members, and we said, what's the number one challenge that you're having when it comes to consistently catching inshore slams? And honestly, just how can we serve you? Say anything, right? If it's more rods, reels, whatever it is. And the number one thing that we heard by far was finding the fish, or find the fish, or finding the fish, or helping finding the fish, or how to find the fish, or how to find the fishing spots. It was some iteration of that. I mean, nothing was even remotely close. And so the smart fishing tides talks about the win, right? It's giving you the times, but that's only so helpful if you're in a brand new spot, or maybe you're newer, right? Maybe you're that 36% of new anglers. You're like, cool, I know when to fish, but I don't know exactly where. It's intimidating. I get on an online map, I pick up my spots, and when I launch my boat or kayak, the area looks completely different. I don't even know where to start. And so we are working right now, and have been for some time, on some technology. I will just give you the kind of teaser because I don't want to spoil it, but it will literally show you like on a satellite map, and this will be on your phone. So you could literally be in the boat or your kayak looking at it, and it's going to show you, based on the same type of aerials based on the wind direction and speed, the temperatures, the time of year, and all that. It's going to actually give you spots, like actually show you not GPS spots, but an area, right? Because let's face it, right? If you just gave you a GPS spot of one little mangrove and you sat there casting underneath that one little mangrove, they might be just 30 feet over. So it's going to give you that whole area. Like it'll show you like, hey, fish this entire mangrove line. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, literally. So if you were in Port Charlotte, it's an area you don't live in, right? You usually fish the East Coast and you're in Port Charlotte and you literally get on the phone. This is going to be insider members only, obviously. And you get on and you literally, drop your pin where you are, and it's going to all of a sudden highlight and pull up all this information. Say, all right, Justin, here's your 3 to 5 spots you should be fishing right now to maximize your chances of catching an inshore slam. And it's going to highlight like little areas. And then you can actually zoom in and see the sonar. You can actually see the depth. So it's going to be like Navionics meets like Top Spot maps, some of those old school maps that kind of highlight an area, meets like Windy. It's like all this stuff combined, all at your fingertips on your phone in our little Progressive app. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, it's game changing. It's something that like, man, if we could ever solve this, and we've spent a lot of time behind the scenes brainstorming on it. And we're like, man, the data is there, from NOAA and that's where Navionics and all these places get most of their data in terms of depths. And then you have the, I don't know where you get the wind stuff. It might be NOAA as well. I mean, Windy, all these apps get the same information in the same place. You got to pay a lot of money for it. So we're investing heavily into technology. The good news, it'll be completely free to Insider members. There is a chance, because we are investing heavily. I mean, this is not like $30,000 or $40,000. This is hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We might have to raise the price for new members. Remember, once you're an insider member, you're locked into your price for life. So this is one more reason to join the Insider Club, because once we come out with this, if we're raising the prices, you're going to have to pay more if you're not currently a member. So one more reason to be an Insider member now. Once you're in, right now it's $97 for the year. That's just 28 cents a day. You're locked into that forever, for as long as we have this club, which I hope 20, 30, 40 more years. So that part, I'm really, really stoked on technology, because we've already solved for the when. Now we're going to solve the where to fish, and then on top of that, it'll have little points. So if we've personally fished there, like on our insider reports, you'd be zoomed in and you could say, oh, cool, I can literally watch Justin fish that same area that it's telling me to go fish, because you've already been there and then done a full report. I mean, how cool is that, dude?
All I can think about is we can build it. We have the technology.
Yes. But I get so amped up about this, because I mean, this is what I wish was around. It's what I still wish was around. I still struggle. It's what I wish I would have paid a crazy amount of money to have something like that at my fingertips when we were making that transition from bass. We were largemouth bass fishermen in Central Florida to trying to catch inshore slams. It was so frustrating.
I want to hit your point home. So like,
yep,
you can be successful and you can put in the time and effort to be successful. It's not like everything's handed on a silver platter, but Joe's point is time. As I get older, time is precious. You can't get it back. And there's so many days that I remembered sitting and doing, sometimes I used to spend, when I was doing tournaments, man, I would pre-fish for 3 days prior to the tournament. That's a lot of time and money spent trying to be successful. If I had resources and tools to cut all that time, oh my gosh, I could enjoy that with friends and family, or grow something in the business or whatnot. Time is invaluable. So any resource that we can figure out to help you be better at fishing, finding fish, and then catching fish, it's a win-win in everybody's book. I mean, mine too.
Yeah.
Like all the nights I've spent researching 4 or 5 different platforms and spots and winds, and it takes a lot of time. But when you find out the 2 or 3 things you can use, and I mean, this app that we're basically developing to kind of give you the recipe, just to all right, based on all these factors, this is the zone you're going to want to be fishing. Oh my God, that's hours and hours worth of work done right there. Like that's awesome.
Yeah. Think about if someone gave you like, those Top Spot maps, they still sell today, and they're okay. Like we've bashed them a little bit just because, I mean, they haven't changed in 20 years. Right. But they are helpful, at least to give you an idea of where to fish, just like this this technology that we're developing is. But imagine if, because ours is going to be dynamic, right? Ours is going to be changing every day. Like, it's not going to give you the same 3 spots every day. It's going to be based on what's happening. It's going to be based on real data that's coming in. So imagine like a top spots map that had like windy on top of it. Just that one part alone would be super valuable. Right now it's telling you what wind direction, and so you might not automatically know, all right, based on that, and it's cold winter, if it's in the summertime, I should maybe eliminate this area. We're going to do all that for you, and then show you the kind of handpick the spots. It'd be like having Luke in your back pocket, because Luke's one of the best at doing that. And obviously he's putting a lot of input into how we're building this. It would be like Luke having him on speed dial to say, all right, I'm in this area. Give me 3 to 5 spots. Where would you fish? And that's what we're going to show you. Will it be perfect 100% of the time? No, of course, nothing is, right? It's fishing, right? We all have bad days, and sometimes we pick spot A and it should have been spot B, but we are going to give you everything possible to eliminate the dead zone and put you in that feeding zone, that 90-10 zone. It's all about putting you in the 90-10 zone as fast as humanly possible. So you're not sitting around there puttering around and getting ticked off and wondering, oh man, like, should I have fished over here? We are going to, once again, save you time. I love the fact you said that, because that's what it's about. Like, we're solving for time. And if you're willing to spend 28 cents a day to save so much time on the water and save money on your tackle, because of course all of our insider members get 20, and even we've done as high as 50% off some of our kind of private label items. Absolute no brainer. So we'll move into the community. That's kind of the third part, right? So we talked about tackle, talked about technology, and then community. We are seeing a big increase in our insider members. Part of it's because we have a lot of new fishermen out there, and a part of it is because a lot of people are leaving Facebook, right? For a lot of different reasons, from privacy issues to just getting ticked off with all the spam and the negativity and the hatred that's on there. And so we have seen our private insider community just skyrocket, and we've also invested a lot of time and money there. Hopefully, if you're an insider member, you've already been in and seen the changes. It got a complete facelift. It is so much cleaner. It is so much easier to use. It's right there on your phone, just like any normal app. It now remembers you. We used to have an issue where it would log you out if you weren't in there every day. It would log you out after 7 days. Now I think it's for a full year. Like, if you sign up for a year, you're automatically logged in on your device or devices for an entire year. So no more like getting frustrated and saying, man, what's my password again? We are trying to like make it so easy for you guys to get in there and get what you need. And we've broken it down by region. So like, if you're in the Tampa Bay region, you can see everything if you want. But if you only want to see Tampa Bay, you can see every single fishing report, including the on the water ones, the ones that are spot dissections, the other members reports, all right there at your fingertips. And if you only wanted to see redfish caught in Tampa Bay, you could do that. And if you want to go back in time and say, hey, I want to see what happened last year, you can now do that. It is so cool, right? Like within seconds, not like having to go scroll through a year's worth of stuff. So we have built it based on your feedback. And I truly believe it is the best online community out there for saltwater anglers. And the fact there's no cursing, there's no negativity, there's no belittling, there's just positive people who are sharing and helpful. And you can ask anything. And now you guys, meaning the amazing fishing coaches and tackle experts, you guys are in there all the time now answering questions. We're going to have the ability to go live in there pretty soon. You can obviously upload videos, but we'll be able to go live and start doing some live Q&A. I'm so pumped about that community. And I honestly, we're kind of like, because we have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, saltwater fishing Facebook group out there. And I've noticed it hasn't grown in a while. It's been like at whatever 82,000 members for a long time, and we're purposely not really trying to grow it. We moderate and we get in there and post on occasion, but we're now spending all of our time in the community and really just trying to pluck off everyone, all the good people. We don't want everyone. There's some negative Nancy's in there. I don't want in our club, but for the most part, we're trying to get all the good people and bring them over into the insider club. So you'll see a lot of cool changes in that community, including the technology I mentioned, including some changes with the smart fishing tides, and including some other cool tech things I won't mention just yet, because I'm still not sure that Nick can pull this one off, but if he does, it'll be next level, like Pokemon next level. That's a horrible analogy.
That was looking perfect. reference.
But looking
Yeah.
at stuff, on your phone while you're in that spot. So just use your imagination there. I never played Pokemon, but I saw the videos
Salt
where,
strong. Gotta catch them all.
yes, yes.
Oh man.
Yes,
So
I'm really, really stoked about that.
I gotta add, like, it was about, and we've had many podcasts and discussions here talking about the community and the importance of the community and what its purpose is. And I think that if you're anything like us, and what you and Luke realized years ago is you took a step back and you looked at the fishing industry as a whole and said, what's going on here? Like, why is there negativity? Why is there bullying? Why is there this pro staff mindset? Why are TV shows like this? Why are magazine articles like this? There's got to be a better way to do things. And we're always trying to think about fishing as a community, as people coming together, spending time together, creating memories together. That's special. Not only do we teach you how to find more fish and catch more fish, but we teach you how to embrace what it means to be an angler and be someone that's a part of a community. Like, social media is toxic. It can poison people, and a lot of people spend a lot of time dialed into social media for whatever the reason is. And this community platform, as I'm learning that I'm spending more of my time in the community than any other social media platform by like 2 or 3 times as much time. And it's because it's healing. Like, I go into it and it's nice to be able to engage with people that want nothing more than just to be better at fishing and meet new people and enjoy what you have to share and offer. Like, wow, it's a breath of fresh air that I can go in there and everybody's just wonderful. And I have to, I say that I kind of get goosebumps because it's like, it's really nice. We don't, the world doesn't have that. We need more of that. So we're fostering and building that within this community, and the technological buff ups, if you will, that we're having to make this a greater platform. It's just going to bring more people in. It's going to make it that much better because everyone's going to want to be a part of it because it's objectively will help you be better at fishermen, and because you can go in and be like, that's really cool. Like, it feels good to be a part of that. And you almost can't put a price on that, really.
Yeah, it was really cool. In that same survey I mentioned earlier, we asked people, how do you describe Salt Strong? Like, what does it mean to you? Wide open, right? It's a not multiple choice, fill in the blank, write whatever you want. And the word family came up over and over and over again. And that's not because of Luke and I. That's the community creates family. Not, it can't just be 1 or 2 people or 5 people. It's because of the amazing members that we have that make you feel like family, right? I thought that was so cool. And I agree. And because there's no news allowed, there's no politics. I mean, the only news we have is people celebrating personal best fish and creating memories on the water. And I'm saying that in jest, but it's the opposite of what you see on the Facebooks and everywhere else, Instagram, where people are talking about all the stuff going on in our world that can get so negative so fast, and no one seems to agree. The one thing we agree on is we love fishing, and we love celebrating amazing fishing moments, and we love creating memories with our loved ones. And that's all we celebrate. That's what we talk about in there. And then if people have questions or struggling, hey, I fished this spot and I had a really tough day, can you guys give me some guidance? And that's not just our fishing coaches. Now we're seeing other members jump in. That's so cool. And that is like a family, right? Where everyone's helping out, not necessarily every single time, and it's not always the same people, but there's always someone willing to jump in and help out. I think that's been so cool, because in the beginning, it used to be just the fishing coaches, and we're like, oh man, if we don't respond, no one is. And now people are just like loving on each other and super, super helpful, sharing like crazy. And it has become like a family unit. And it is, I'm the same as you. It's my favorite place to go. I almost cringe because I'd still go to the Facebook group just to check in, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like I'm like, all right, we got to delete this person, delete this comment. Like, it's just so negative. We don't ever have to do that in our private insider community because we got good people. And we have some rules. And it's funny, even just spending $1, it's amazing when there's any transaction that people just clean up, or we just get better people, I guess. But it has been weird. I think over the 5 years of having that insider club, I think we've had to kick out 3 people, for being negative. And we don't really give people many chances. Like, just be positive. It's a pretty simple rule. Like, be nice, be genuine, be kind, and no bullying, no teasing, and no cursing. And if you can obey those rules and you like fishing and you like being part of a fun club, man, we'd love to have you. And I know a lot of you listen to this podcast who are already members. Thank you guys so much. As you can tell, we are really pumped about this year on all fronts, from the community to the tackle to the technology. Really, really pumped. So got a lot of cool stuff coming on the tackle, some brand new lures you've never seen before, some brand new molds that are going to blow you away and ultimately help you get more strikes per cast. Gonna really cool stuff on the technology side. And just so you know, it's probably second half of the year, just being honest. I mean, you can only imagine what's going into building this tech stack on there. So we have been working on already, but it's more likely than not going to be like a Labor Day type of a thing. But get in now while you can, lock in your price. And as soon as we roll that out, we'll probably have some beta testers like we did with the community, and we'll let you guys kind of play around with it first. And once again, I want to reiterate, no price increases for anyone who's an existing member. So and I don't know that we're going to do it yet, but we're already talking about it because this is a big investment. So if we do raise prices, it'll only be on new people who are not members. So I don't want anyone to freak out and call us saying, well, what's going on with my membership? Get in now while you can. You will be locked in for life. Never a price increase once you're a member. So I want to reiterate that. And then finally, the community, a lot of cool things going in the community, a lot of new people. I love logging in. I know you do, Justin, and it tells you if it's someone's first time post, so we can all kind of give them some love and welcome them. I mean, I'm just seeing more and more and more first time people posting, and some of them have been members for a while. A couple have been members for a year, and they're finally, getting off of the Facebooks and other places and saying, man, I just want to come in here and have this kind of be my spot. Where I'm sharing fishing intel and sharing my picks and celebrating. So it's been really, really cool to see that puppy grow.
Exactly.
What else you got, dude? Anything else for 2022? Any other predictions? What about the gambling, dude? This is another thing going back. I don't know did you see that article I sent?
I did. What about gambling?
So because fishing's grown so much, Bally's, massive Bally's, who owns like half of Las Vegas, they've now teamed up with Major League Fishing. And here in 2022, there is going to be gambling, official, like legal gambling on fishing tournaments. So now you can bet on KVD or whoever to win. Yeah. Now it's wild. I thought that was just like, at first I was like, oh, it's going to be a joke. And I was like, holy smokes, this is a real deal. Like, but it makes sense. I mean, Bally's knows people gamble and they're going where the people are. And if you see an entity like fishing that has 50 million people and in that much increase, they cut some deal with Major League Fishing. And now there is going to be legal gambling on fishing tournaments. Cause there's, I don't remember how many, but it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds more than there are days in the year of professional fishing tournaments across the nation. So that's a lot of tournaments to potentially bet on. And I'm sure there'll be bets from like who catches the biggest bass to the first bass to who wins. Like I was mind blown when I read that article.
Well, after this week, if anybody ever put money on any of the coaches, don't put it on me.
Don't beat yourself up. The next trip, it's going to be yours.
Yeah. No. I know. But it's crazy to think that you can, being a big tournament guy before, you're kind of weighing all the risks, right? And you're trying to go into it and say, like, is this a gamble that I want to take competing in this tournament? How much of this can you manipulate, and how much can be, competitively, put you at a competitive advantage over the people you're fishing against, or where you choose to fish? There's a lot of variables that can go into that. So this will be interesting to see how people can say, all right, well, like, I don't know, JT Kenny. Okay, well, JT Kenny's a spokesperson, but I mean, for anybody else, I'm not following Major League Fishing right now or any of the bass scene, but I need to, because I'm sure I could probably learn the style of which people fish and say, this guy's onto something. Like, he's going to Peckwick and he's going to go and he's going to go drop shot all day. Like, he's going to be on it, so that's interesting. I'm not much of a fantasy sports guy, but I might get into that.
It's pretty wild. I mean, if you were smart and you were actually a pro, and let's just say like you were one of the kind of the top 3 bass anglers in the country, you would be smart to put money on your 2 biggest competitors. So if they beat you, you win money. And if you beat them, it's kind of like in stock trading, it's you gotta kind of leverage your losses and gains. And if you know, even if you got third place and the guy you bet on got first, you just got a nice payout.
It's ridiculous.
Isn't that
It's
crazy?
funny. Yeah, it is crazy.
So nuts. So nuts. And then, you know, finally, you know, back to kind of our big vision. This is not 2022, but it's certainly by 2025 is the family fishing theme park. So the family focused fishing theme park, really, really stoked. You know, we're getting every year is just one step closer to it. And we have an area. I can't share with you yet because I don't want people going and buying it and bidding it up, but an area that is currently not for sale, but I believe will be in the near future to put this theme park on. And man, I'm so pumped. A place for families to come together and to be able to, you know, put your phones and technology down and go out and fishing with pros and with experts, and still have the hotel and the restaurants and massive aquariums and events, and have little tournaments there for everywhere from kids to beginners to, you know, to some amateurs and maybe even some pros. I mean, just so many things that we could do there, all related around family and unity and fishing. And so even if you aren't a big angler, like my middle daughter she's a princess. My oldest daughter, if you guys follow me on Facebook, she's Shauna the nature girl. I mean, she go picks up snakes, she'll do anything. And my son Jackson loves fishing. My middle daughter doesn't, but I want to create it for even families like ours, where we have one person who doesn't necessarily she loves boating and she'll reel a fish in, but she doesn't get enjoyment like you and I would of sitting out there and like, man, that next cast might be it. She's just like, yeah, I kind of just want to reel a fish in. But we want to make a theme park where it's even like she's excited to go, where she's like, Mom, Dad, I had a blast there. That was so much fun seeing everything. So more to come on that. We'll continue to do more podcasts on this theme park as we kind of get more and more of that vision. Just wanted to share that with you because that's kind of our big plans for really by the end of 2025 that we have the property at least purchased and kind of have it all outlined. So it'll be here before you know it. I can't believe it's already 2022, and man, what a just wild time. So enjoy your hand sanitizers there. Hope you guys are safe and having a good January. And hit us up. And if you haven't been in the community, get in there. Go in the community. It's community.saltstrong.com. So you can save that right on there on your phone, your desktop, your tablet, whatever. You can actually save it just like an app. By putting it on your homepage or your back screen. So we have a whole video on how to do that, whether you're an Apple or an Android user. And if we can serve you guys in any capacity for anything, just let us know. We're always here for you, and love to help. So Justin, I appreciate you coming on, talking about some of the tackle things, and yeah, stay tuned. We will have some really, really cool stuff coming here in 2022. That is it. State of the Tackle Union 2022. Peace out.
Woo.
Woo woo. See you guys.